Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is my co-anchor Sonia Shenoy. Sonia, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So market in the green, and at lunch hour we'll be surprised that there is some energy that is being seen in the markets. Let's take a look at the market then. Nifty 50 still 32 points up in trade. Remember, it opened the day above 18,300 levels, let go of that level but still maintaining in the green. Well, a little bit of push and momentum is really coming in from the financials. In the last half an hour of trade, Bank Nifty, which was already outperforming the key indices, has also moved up higher, buoyed by some of the big financials doing well in the market. So are currently over 0.5% up in trade. Mid-caps also have shown some outperformance. In fact, in the last few minutes of trading session or last half an hour, there is some bit of buying seen in some of the big banks. But Adani Enterprises is on my radar. It is at its day's low on news-based concerns coming in and more than 3% down. Also the biggest dragger on Nifty 50, Sonia.
Oh, absolutely. But, give and take everything, Nisha. Don't you feel that this is one of those days that the market is so slow, right? I mean, there's nothing happening. The US is heading into an extended long weekend. Tomorrow, the US markets are shut. They have half day on Friday. Queues are thin. There's a nip in the air. People are out. Festive season has begun. So I think the market is taking a bit of a breather, from the stock markets. Let's see how the rest of the day goes. In fact, the cash market volumes are not even 30,000 crores today, so not too much has taken place. But stocks are in focus. Nika is the one that's under pressure. After CFO Arvind Agarwal stepped down from his position, Mangalam is wrapping up all the action for us. Mangalam, over to you.
Well, when it rains bad news, it really pours, and that's what's taking place in a lot of these new age companies, and Nika is one of them as well, where the last bad news that came in was yesterday evening, where the CFO Arvind Agarwal has tendered his resignation with effect from November 25th. While the release says that he'll be pursuing opportunities in the digital startup space, it is not the first big exit. In fact, in the last 3 months or 4 months itself, we've seen 2 big exits as well, and this is the 3rd big exit in the recent past itself. On November 1st itself, we had the exit of the CTO, Sanjay Suri, and in August, we had the CEO of FSN Brands, which is the private label of the company, Reena Chhabra, resigning as well. And both these people were with the company for almost 6 odd years. And this doesn't bode well for the stock at a time when it's down 50% this year, down 60% from its post-listing high. And that's not all. We've seen a massive sell-off in all these stocks, and Nika in particular, as the bonus shares were credited to accounts. And it wasn't just individuals or, HNI selling these stocks. It was actually a fair amount of funds as well who held in from pre-IPO, the kinds of TPG, Lighthouse, all of them selling. So massive delivery volumes are on the downside. When everything's not going good, a resignation does not bode well.
Absolutely, and the stock is now down 50% in this year itself. That's been the kind of pressure on Nika. But onto an exclusive then, sources say that a deal is brewing in Adar Poonawala's Poonawala FinCorp. Nisha, you're picking all that up for us?
Yes. So, Sonia, what we do gather is that the company was already looking at some fundraise, and in the scenario where they didn't manage to raise minority funding for the housing finance company, Poonawala FinCorp, which is the parent company, 100% subsidiary housing finance company, is the one which has been put on the block, is what sources with direct knowledge have shared with CNBC-TV18. I've spoken to several of the independent sources, and they do confirm that about 3 times of the net worth of the housing finance business is what they are looking at in terms of the valuation for a complete sale, and they have appointed an investment banker for this process to go through and are speaking to select interested parties, which include some of the top 5 private equity companies. Now, one thing to note over here is also that remember that the company explored and had stated the intent in the month of May that they will be looking at raising funds and sell up to 15% stake in the company, which the board had approved of. And then they went on to also say that they have an intention of an IPO. So looks like they have really explored almost all the possibilities of a fundraise and now have come to a point where they don't mind behind a controlled sale if there are private equity companies really looking at a complete buyout. We did reach out to the company. They did state their intent for a stake sale, which was earlier announced, and they stuck to that, did not comment on the company being on the block. But we have seen, Sonia, in the recent past, Aadhaar, Awas. So private equity interest in buying a control stake in housing finance companies has been huge in the past.
Absolutely, it has. Thanks a lot for that. So that's the CNBC-TV18 exclusive. But moving on, there's a debutant on Dalal Street. It's Inox Green Energy. It made a subdued debut. The stock listed at a discount of 7.7% at 60 rupees. And look where it's at now. It's down almost about 8%. In fact, earlier we were joined by Devansh Jain, who's the executive director at the Inox GFL Group. He spoke about the debt reduction plans. They said the group will be debt-free in the next 1 year. And they also had large plans in the wind energy space. Listen in.
We've got about 790 crores of debt as of 31st March 2022. 370 is going to get repaid by the primary proceeds of the IPO. What that would leave us with is approximately 420. Over the course of the year, we've sold 4 SPVs, 3 to Adani and 1 to Torrent. We've recovered majority of the 100 odd crores which was to be recovered there. What is left for us to now action out is sale of the last SPV, which would be downsold in the near future for about 300 odd crores. So broadly, what we're aiming for is to make this company a net debt-free entity in the very near future.
All right, so moving on to some big voices, big corporate voices on the show today. Think big, think clean, think digital. This was the key message from Reliance Industries Chairman Mukesh Ambani to the students of the Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University. In fact, addressing their 10th convocation ceremony, Ambani said that the revolution in clean energy, bioenergy and the digital sectors will be the next force multipliers that will transform lives. Ambani urged young India to lead the clean and green energy revolution. In fact, Tata Group Chairman N. Chandrasekaran also addressed the gathering there, and he said that technology will be key in driving the advancements that fuel the next revolution. He further pointed to 5G, Internet of Things and Industry 4.0 as the next big fulcrums of transformation. Take a listen.
Think big. Be an audacious dreamer. Every great thing ever built in this world was once a dream thought to be impossible. You have to own your dream with courage, nurture it with conviction, and realize it with bold and disciplined action. It is the only way you can make the impossible possible. 2, think green. The clean energy movement is about adopting a green mindset. It is about being sensitive to Mother Nature. It is about inventing means to harvest its energy without harming it. It is about ensuring that we leave behind a better and a healthier planet for future generations. And 3, think digital. In your mission of making India a clean energy leader, digitization will play the role of a force multiplier.
The progress that is being made in technology is tremendous, and it is going to significantly accelerate every science-based transformation in every discipline. 5G technology will provide and serve as the backbone for transformation of many industries.
Okay, that's the big green energy push, but we'll slip into a quick break. On the other side, private banks have gone on an expansion mode, with many large following the old school method of opening new branches. More on that story after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Well, the market, the headline index may be quiet, but there is no dearth of stock movement on the individual level. Just take a look at this. KPIT Technologies is up almost about 5%. It's made a good comeback actually in the last many days. Interglobe Aviation stocks are come back in a big way. Travel is back as well. So a lot of these stocks are looking up. RHI Magnesita, a company that we spoke to recently, is up almost about 13% now, so huge moves there. And something like a Mazgaon Dock, Apollo Hospital, Syngene, all coming back in the market today. But moving on to an interesting take on the banking sector, many large private banks seem to be following an old-school method of boosting growth of opening branches during the last few quarters. So we're back to pre-COVID times, it seems. Abhishek is here to break this down for us.
Now, one of the key trends that I've noticed over the last few quarters is that private banks in India are going old school, at least the large ones. This is a reference to them opening up branches in the last few quarters at a time when digitization is getting a lot of ground. So these large banks have also been growing faster than the industry's growth rate over the last couple of quarters, with focus especially being on the retail loan growth. So in last 5 quarters, HDFC Bank has opened 846 branches, a growth of about 14.3%. ICICI Bank has opened about 346 branches, a growth of 6.4%. Axis Bank has opened 160 branches, a growth of 1.7%, while Kotak Bank has opened 98 branches, a growth of 5.4%. When you open branches, you tend to gain on deposits, and it also aids in loan growth going ahead. Hence, the business momentum increase with branch expansion actually takes place. So from Q1 FY22 to Q2 FY23, the business per branch has grown by 5.9% for SDFC Bank, 9.4% for ICICI Bank, and Axis Bank and Kotak Bank around the 11.5% mark. Hence, branch expansion has worked the most in terms of business momentum for Kotak Bank and Axis Bank. The best part of branch expansion, or the sweet part, is to gain the low-cost deposits. Especially when you open a new branch, the liquidity that comes in right now has become tighter and expensive. So the focus would be on the CASA, or the low-cost deposits called current account and saving account. The growth in CASA per branch has been led by Axis Bank, ICICI Bank and SDFC Bank. Now, Kotak Bank is the only bank to witness a decline in CASA per branch over the last few quarters. Branch expansion always comes with a cost. SDFC Bank, despite having the highest number of branch openings, has seen the lowest rise in cost per branch. So between Q1 FY22 to Q2 FY23, the operating cost per branch has risen by about 19.6% for SDFC Bank, about 26.9% for ICICI Bank, 29% for Axis Bank, and about 36.7% for Kotak Bank. So SDFC Bank has been the most cost effective with respect to branch openings, while Kotak Bank has been the worst. So branch expansion also aids in loan growth, especially in the retail segment. Now, market share has risen massively for SDFC Bank. Over the last 5 quarters, if you take a look, the market share gain is about 113 basis points for SDFC Bank, 62 basis points for ICICI Bank, about 32 basis points for Kotak Mahindra Bank, and only 12 basis points for Axis Bank. So despite digital transactions increasing, private banks' focus on branch expansion may seem to be a surprise. The opening up of branches also aids in market share gains as banks draw more customers, especially away from the NBFCs. The recent push for deposit by PSU banks do suggest that private banks have seen this coming. With liquidity crunch and banks focused on loan growth, branch expansion will aid in business momentum going ahead.
All right. Thanks, Abhishek, for that very interesting analysis. And I must say that omni-channel approach, even in the banking space, is something that is here to stay. So bank branches expansion just tells that story. But one point that Kotak Mahindra Bank gives a higher savings deposit rate compared to all the peers that you mentioned there.
Well, a tough situation there in China because of the COVID restrictions. Let's do one thing. Let's take a quick commercial break. A quick programming note: to fully commit to the cause of bridging the gender parity gap at the workforce, CNBC-TV18 is all set to lead charge with a one-of-a-kind mega initiative, Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective, presented by HSBC. The initiative will be officially launched through an exclusive on-ground event on Friday, the 25th of November, in the presence of Shireen Bhan, Managing Editor, CNBC-TV18's Hitendra Dave of HSBC, and other women leaders of India Inc. Also in attendance will be some of the most influential voices from the business, entrepreneurship and entertainment spaces. Don't forget to tune in on Friday, November 25th, 5:30 p.m. onwards.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch. A quick look at Bank Nifty, which is surging ahead, buoyed by ICICI Bank, which is seen some strong performance and buying at the moment. So keep that on your radar. And let's take it straight to the best part of the show for me personally, and it's the sporting.
Interested in what's happening with the World Cup, right? Yesterday's game saw the first major upset this World Cup, with Saudi Arabia getting the better of Lionel Messi's Argentina. 2018's finalists Croatia will start their campaign in a couple of hours' time, where they play Morocco. Germany too will kick off their World Cup campaign today as they face off against Japan, and that'll be an interesting one. Once again, let's see if underdogs Japan can come out front, similar to what, the big shocker that came in from Saudi Arabia, right? That happens at 6:30 p.m. later today. Spain will play Costa Rica at 9:30 p.m. later tonight. So very, very exciting day lined up in the world of football.
But I still can't get over that particular upset. I just hope there are no more upsets today. At least we should get a breather on that front.
But it's excitement, right? I mean, it's entertainment, and that's what people want, I guess.
Yeah, but it was heartbreaking yesterday to see Messi not get that penalty shoot. Anyways, with that, that's all we have on Business Lunch today. Thanks so much for tuning in.